Hey, what's up? The patch isn't a deep gameplay overhaul or a content drop. It's a defensive play. The changes are aimed at the parts of the game where cheating skews results the most: online pickup areas and competitive matchmaking spaces. Players have been reporting fewer instances of outright lag freezing and the wild, spiky latency that used to let some accounts get away with impossible plays, and that's exactly the behavior this build tried to address. Community creators who tested matches right after the update noticed a tangible difference in the frequency of those exploit patterns, and clips started circulating almost immediately, showing less of that instant freeze and teleport nonsense. The protections themselves appear to be network-focused. Think of them as new detection heuristics and countermeasures that flag or mitigate suspicious latency manipulation, rather than rewriting core movement or animation systems. Because these are anti-cheat measures, the studio kept details deliberately high-level. They confirmed the rollout covers the major online zones and indicated it's part of an ongoing effort to monitor and refine detection. That means the patch is best understood as one step in a continuing sequence of updates, rather than a permanent cure-all. Players should expect monitoring and iterative improvements while the team analyzes how these protections behave in live matches. From an experience standpoint, what this means for you while playing is relatively simple. Expect fewer games ruined by extreme lag manipulation, but also expect the game to require a mandatory download and restart when the patch lands on your platform. That restart requirement is important because these protections live in the live service layer and need a full client reload to apply. Patch trackers and release notes for the drop highlighted that the update was pushed to next-gen platforms first, and emphasized that players should fully close and relaunch the client to ensure the new protections take effect. You might also hear talk about specific modes being targeted. The park, the theater, and the rec are the places where this kind of cheating has been most disruptive, and the update notes and community summaries made a point of calling those out. People who play primarily in those spaces reported an immediate change in the feel of match stability. That doesn't mean every single exploit is gone, but it does mean the threshold for abusing network tricks has been raised. In other words, the patch raised the bar for anyone who is trying to game the system with intentional latency spikes. Now, don't expect visual polish or new content here. This build is about enforcement and mitigation, the sort of behind-the-scenes work that rarely gets fireworks, but is huge for fair play. There were mentions of additional live updates also being included with the release, implying some smaller server-side tweaks landed alongside the main client change, so the team could pivot quickly if they observed any unexpected side effects. That's typical for updates that touch anti-cheat systems. You push the change, watch telemetry and community feedback, and then adjust in rapid succession if needed. I'll also underline a point that matters for anyone who's been in matches where cheating felt unavoidable. These patches don't always eliminate bad actors overnight. Sometimes detection catches repeat offenders and bans follow, and other times the team needs to tune thresholds to avoid false positives that would punish clean players. The good news is that both the community and content creators have been testing the post-patch environment and reporting fewer dramatic incidents, which suggests the update is moving the needle in the right direction. That combination of immediate mitigation plus ongoing tuning is exactly the pattern you want to see when a developer commits to competitive integrity. One last practical note buried in the deployment info. Because this is a mandatory client update for consoles and PC on the platforms it hit first, players should expect a small download and then a required restart to reap the benefits. After that, gameplay in the online spaces mentioned should feel more consistent and less subject to the kinds of artificial lag that break close matches. The development team's public-facing patch history still lists larger prior updates by name and date, but this particular release was rolled out as a focused measure to address an immediate issue, rather than as part of a seasonal content cadence. So yeah, that's the rundown in plain terms. A targeted anti-cheat push that went live aiming squarely at network manipulation, exploits, and lag switching, concentrated on the most affected online areas requiring a mandatory client download and restart, and packaged as an initial but not final step in a longer anti-cheat program. The overall vibe from the community is cautiously optimistic. Things are measurably better in short tests, but the situation will keep evolving as the studio refines its approach.